all of a sudden there's a song on radio that was on radio only because it was being requested by so many people that were watching the video on CMT and going, oh my God, I love this song, you know? And it became a #1 video on CMT. And I was like, well, shit, I'm going to go to Nashville.
Shaun Silva, thank you so much for being on What's Mine Is Yours.
Of course.
I'm really excited to have you. And when it comes to this industry, we would say, I mean, you do a lot, but I would say your main shtick is being a director, right? I mean, you're director, producer.
That would be my main shtick.
That's your main shtick is director.
Yeah. Tried a lot of other things. No. But yeah, directing. Yep, absolutely.
And you've done, I mean, some of the most incredible and most recognizable country music videos, I think, in the genre. So what would you say is your most memorable one?
Oh God. I don't know that there's my most memorable one. There's an era of music videos that I'm so proud to be part of. And that was probably the early 2000s.
I think that's kind of when music videos were arguably, I know that now this is a matter of opinion, but arguably more important to the song and the story, right?
100%.
Yeah. People like tuned in for a music video.
And you know, I would like to believe that I had you know, some impact in that era. You know, had an impact in that era with the artists that I worked with and the content that we created, and helped build artists like Kenny Chesney, Rascal Flatts, Jason Aldean, Luke Bryan. I mean, those were my guys,
right?
You know, and I feel like with them, I was able to push boundaries of music videos for sure. It's certainly in country music, because I think that even though I grew up a country music fan, because I grew up in Central California, my brother had a country band. You know, I mean, it literally. So he'd play all the local fairs and stuff, and so I have always been a country music fan. So it's authentic to me. But I spent 11 years in LA working for, you know, the directors that were doing Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, Filter, like Metallica. Like, I worked on those music videos started out as a PA early 90s, then became an assistant director to, you know, Nigel Dick, Samuel Bear, Nigel Dick, Oasis. I worked on Oasis music videos. You know, like, I've worked on legendary music videos, learning what I do, which we can come back to this later. I don't think that happens anymore, by the way. But I worked for a lot of really talented directors for many years. And then I brought that kind of, I think that feel and what I learned and what I've gravitated towards. I feel like I brought some of that edge to Nashville. Yeah. To country music.
I think that's great, because my cousin would literally die when you just said Smashing Pumpkins. I'm going to have to tell her when I leave here.
Oh my God. Bullet with Butterfly Wings. I worked on that video and I could not get that song out of my head for months.
I had to wait. I remember, was it a Dimple Records or was it a Tower Records? We had to wait in line to meet, because she had to meet them. And we were like there for hours waiting, because my cousin is obsessed with Smashing Pumpkins. So I cannot wait to tell her that you've worked alongside Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh man, it was very intense video. I mean, watch the video. Yeah. It's intense, right? And great to be there and witness all of that happening. And I mean, just the production that went into even back then, the rock and pop and grunge videos of that era, the money that was being spent to produce those music videos was incredible. They were movies. I mean, movie level production.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you remember what music video was the first one of yours that you directed that you saw on television?
Yes, 100%.
Which one?
It was not that edgy, but very Americana. It was for Kenny Rogers.
Okay.
And it was The Greatest. It was about a little boy trying to hit a baseball. And I when I started shopping my work, like I had a little VHS reel of work that I had put together, and it was my brother's band. It was a Ford commercial for my dad, who was a Ford dealer, that featured all of our friends that were farmers and all of their trucks and things like that, and a celebration of what they call now the Heartland. Mm-hmm. What's popular now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is in the late 90s. It's been around a while. I promise. It didn't just show up. But, my reel reflected those things. And when I shopped it around Los Angeles in the late 90s, nobody wanted anything to do with it. They're like, that's not what we do. I'm like, okay, but isn't there room for it somewhere?
Yeah.
In the world,
for sure,
in branding, because I really wanted to do commercials back then. I wanted to do that stuff, and I had shot a commercial, like I said, for my dad, and we pitched it to JWT, and they very interested very early on, and then stopped taking my phone calls, and suddenly Alan Jackson came out with as the face for Ford Country. So, that's true.
Yeah.
That happened.
That
happened. And part of it was my dad and getting together with a bunch of dealers that said, hey, Ford superheroes like Rangers on the beach, that doesn't appeal to our audience. That doesn't appeal to our brand. That doesn't appeal to the people that buy our trucks, the farmers that buy our trucks.
Wow.
And they were pissed.
Yeah.
They're like, there needs to be a change. And then he started showing people like what I had done and this really heartland kind of feel. And they're like, yeah, we do that. Mm-hmm. So it lands on the desk of Kenny Rogers, that commercial.
And that's how he found you.
And suddenly he goes, I get a phone call, which I thought was my brother playing a joke on me. And it's Kenny Rogers' assistant, and says, hey, Kenny would like to speak with you, And the only reason I thought that maybe it was real was because I did take my VHS reel and dropped it off at Dreamcatcher Entertainment.
Okay.
Which was his company that handled all of their movies and all the stuff that they had done with Kelly Unkerman.
Okay.
And so I dropped it off over there, and sure enough, he called me. He's like, hey, I've got this little story song that I think you would be great to do a video for me. And we flew him flew him in his private jet to San Joaquin Valley.
Okay.
Not far from where you grew up.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Fireball, where Josh Allen is from. So I'm going to connect all the dots of the famous people.
Yeah, you got to, right?
Got to do that, right? So took him to Fireball, where there was this really cool little league baseball diamond that I grew up knowing. And I was like, let's go out there and shoot this video. And we flew him in. We did it. All the townspeople came in. And that video ends up being on CMT when nobody would play the song at radio. Radio would not play that song. And, we hadn't heard from Kenny Rogers in a while. And it just wasn't a radio-friendly song as far as they're concerned.
Yeah.
Right? And suddenly CMT started playing it, and it started climbing the chart of their countdown. And it started getting requested at radio. So all of a sudden, there's this song on radio that was on radio only because it was being requested by so many people that were watching the video on CMT and going, oh my God, I love this song. Mm-hmm. And it became a #1 video on CMT. And I was like, well, shit, I'm going to go to Nashville.
Wow.
So I flew to Nashville while it was #1.
And that's really cool for you to have. And I think I've heard you say on another podcast as well that with Rascal Flatts, Take Me There is another kind of similar story where it wasn't being played on radio. And because of the success of the music video itself, it's people are calling in when people would call into radio and ask for songs. So that's a really, I mean, how does that feel knowing that like your work has helped influence a song become a bigger song for that artist?
Well, it was huge. And this is how big it was. So Chris Parr was the head of programming at CMT at the time. He's now manages Jason Aldean and has for years. I have a letter from Chris Parr. And I asked him about it. He doesn't even remember it. I have it. Mm-hmm. I have the letter that he signed. Mm-hmm. And it said this, I can't tell you what this video means to the relevancy of CMT.
Wow.
Because it shows that music videos matter.
Yep. Exactly.
And that was like, I'm like, wow. Okay. I mean, as a director making music videos, you hope that you have some influence on the individual, the people, it inspires them, it touches them, it does something positive in their life, makes them laugh, makes them cry.
For sure.
Right? But this was like next level.
Very
for
much.
A network to reach out and go, hey, this is how important your work is to what we do. Mm-hmm. And I've never forgot that. And to your point, I do believe that we've done that time and time again. And I think not just me, every director out there has had that influence on songs and audiences and touched them in ways that the audience maybe didn't necessarily imagine in their own mind. Mm-hmm. What hurts the most? Rascal Flatts? I had the songwriters come up to me one night and go, that is nothing what I imagined this video would ever be, and it's incredible.
Yeah, so I mean, I've interviewed Jeffrey Steele, and so I know like the story obviously behind that song, and I know he shares that with many people. Sure. But where did that idea? I mean, I'm gonna jump off because you brought that up, but like, where did that idea come from? Because even me listening to that song, I mean, I vividly obviously remember that music video that you directed, but I wouldn't have even came up with that storyline. So how did you come up with that storyline?
Okay, see, I just got chills because sometimes I feel like, I don't want to get, too deep into all this, but I feel like in ways I've been a vessel for stories and for things, sure. Right? And that things find me and then I process them and they come out, and I feel like certain things are meant to be. Mm-hmm. And that, I literally got the song. It was on a CD because we used to get them on CDs.
The good old days.
Put it in my computer, and wrote the song on this plane. Had written the song, right before we got on the plane, I had written the treatment, and on the way to the airport, my wife got a call from one of her best friends back in Nebraska that her brother had just died in a car accident, and they didn't know what happened. The truck flipped and turned over and all this stuff. And she's telling me this story as we're boarding the plane. She's in tears. We're boarding the plane. She's telling me this story, and I'm just listening. And we get on, and I open my computer and I go, read this.
And you had already written the treatment.
Yeah.
That what has become to be what hurts the most.
I said, read this. And she read it and she's like, how did you know that? Wow. It was the story.
Yeah.
It was the story. And it was like
incredible in a different way.
I was just like, holy crap. I mean, yeah, it's like, it's crazy sometimes when things like that happen.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, and then it kind of feels like that's how it was supposed to be told.
It's how it was supposed to be told.
That's really interesting.
And to be fair, at this point, I had not even been awarded the job. So I had written something that I don't even know if they're even going to select as the thing, but it just all felt like it was destiny. It was supposed to happen. It was supposed to be that, and so, but there's been so many like special moments in my career and with what I do that are almost unexplainable.
Sure.
Almost died, in a helicopter crash filming, There Goes My Life for Kenny Chesney. And I mean, there's just like, I don't know, it's awesome. Right. And for me, it feels like it's bigger than just a career. Like I always felt like I was meant to do something,
purpose.
to be something, you know what I mean? And I had no idea what that was. We were just talking about it in the lobby coming in here. It's like, it's so exciting to see like my son at 18 years old, like really focused and knowing what he wants to do in music, right? Like I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do at 18 years old, but I knew there was something. There was always something that is in the back of my mind that's like, no, you're meant for something. You're meant for something. You're meant to do something. And I just 100% without any doubt in my mind feel like that it is what I've done and what I'm doing. So.
Well, speaking back to treatments and whatnot, when you're writing thoughts, when you're handed a new song, and whether you've got the job yet or not, and you're hearing it, do visuals just come into your mind immediately?
Yes. Yes.
And how?
I don't know. I just see music.
Okay.
So that's how I always explain it to people. It's like you hear music, I see it. Yeah, and I think that's why I love country music so much, is because it's just the stories, right? Yeah. And I see those stories, and it's just I just write what I see. There's been periods of time like where I've gone, that's kind of, you get pulled in one direction or the other, where you go, all right, am I just writing this just to get the job? Because sometimes you might know a little more information. You're like, you know what? I bet if I write this, I'm going to get this job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's that. You gotta kind of straddle that line a little bit. But most cases, it's like I've even gone back to like treatments before and go, oh, well, maybe this treatment would work for this song that I didn't get before. Right. And maybe this was can't do it. Yeah. I just have to listen to the song, and it just comes out.
Well, speaking of the idea of sometimes you feel like you might want to be tempted to write for something just to get the job, how do you balance your creativity versus what you think is true to an artist's image, or what they say what the label wants for the song or whatever? Because I'm sure you have a style, I'm sure, to some degree, or you have something that, you see as a person. So how do you balance between what Shaun Silva wants and what you think the song needs and what the artist needs?
I never considered me. First of all, I never consider me. I never consider it being my video. I will never. I really don't feel like they're my videos. I feel they're their videos.
Sure.
So at the end of the day, if they want something specific, they're hiring me. I will do what they want to do, but I will also do the things that are true to me.
Yeah.
Right. Creatively, So I do think that you see a video, you're like, oh, you can pick out like the style of a Shaun Silva video. Right. I think that's true. 100%. And some people are going to like that. Some people aren't going to like that.
What do you think that is? What do you think your style is?
I don't think that the female artists have leaned in to my style of music video. Just historically, if you look at it, I don't know why. It's not like some effort or less effort has ever gone into that. It's just always been edgier, male-driven. I'm not really a glossy guy. I don't like it. I don't like glossy things. I like things that are just edgier and characters that are edgier. And, sometimes I probably take it too far, and, and I got to be reeled in by someone, and usually will be, but I don't, and I'm certainly not the edgiest dude in the world either, but I think for our format and country music and things, I feel like I bring a nice level of edge to the table.
Completely.
I'm certainly not doing Metallica or Smashing Pumpkins out there. I mean, and that wouldn't appeal to the audience.
Sure.
The audience, I'm not trying to appeal to the audience. I am the audience.
That's a great way to look at it. Yeah.
I know that audience. I know this audience. I feel like I know this audience better than most. Certainly better than the lady that did all the Cracker Barrel stuff.
No kidding.
I'm certain that I know the audience better than
really
that.
fast.
I mean, but it's funny because it's like, in some ways I get it because, you do see, I mean, it's Magnolia TV and all these things and that Southern lifestyle and Midwest, it's all starting to appeal more broadly. Right?
Well, you do have
and
to
everybody
know.
has their version of it.
Well, and you do have to know your audience. And what's different now, I think that's more different now than it's ever been in country music, is that our audience is so broad that it's not about just knowing audience of country music. It's knowing the audience of that artist you're working for that in that day.
100%, because Kenny Chesney's artist is different than Jason Aldean's artist. And I work with them both. Right? Very different.
Very
different. But also there's some common ground.
Yeah.
There's some very common ground between them as well. So it's, and certainly mutual respect between, that I will say this, with all the artists that I've ever met in country music, I love them all. They really are just good people. They just are like people where I grew up. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of my success is just relatability.
Yeah.
I mean, just relatability is so important in country music.
Very much so. It is a connection-based genre, people to people.
100%.
And I think that's why our live shows and concerts and things like that thrive the way they do, because it is a connection and people find community within the genre more so arguably than any other genre.
I think so. Yeah, I do. I think so.
What would you say during one of your shoots is a happy accident or something that went not the way as planned and ended up in the final?
Oh, God. I mean, there's lots of those. I mean, there's always going to be happy accidents and things that you couldn't have predicted that happened and, went your way. Sometimes things aren't going to go your way and you think that it's bad and suddenly it works out for the best. I mean, that happens with casting sometimes, locations all the time. I mean, I'm just giving you generalities because I don't know speed, but like when you just have your heart so set on a location and then it's like, it doesn't happen. You can't make it happen. And suddenly something even better that you didn't even realize was there presents itself, So I think that what comes along with that is just in our business, I think, we are so nimble and we are problem solvers, and I'm constantly just putting out fires, and my producer is probably putting out more fires than me. But on the creative side, I'm just constantly problem solving, constantly. I mean, I just shot my first movie, and I mean, it kicked my ass. It kicked my ass because it was a low budget film. So we didn't have all the prep that would typically go into a major film on Warner Brothers. So, I mean, but on the lower budget side and a really fast turnaround schedule or shoot schedule and turnaround. And so we just had to be so quick on our feet. And I was literally making, like, I never had the time with the cast for rehearsals or even read-throughs. Nothing.
Whoa.
We all just show up on the day and start going.
Whoa.
I'm like, holy crap. Some of them I didn't even get to audition them. It was like direct deal. You want this person? Just make the offer.
Wow.
And they show up and you're like, okay, now let's talk character. So, and so I was literally every day at the end of a long shoot day, I would be making adjustments to the script, rewriting sides for the next day, because I knew at that point the creative choices or the character choices that certain actors were making that I didn't disagree with, that I thought, you know what, I like that. They were different maybe than a choice that I had made based on the script. Suddenly they make this choice and I go, that character wouldn't say that.
Yeah, of course.
He would say this or she would say that. So boom, boom, boom. So I think being quick and nimble and willing to adjust to personalities, everything. I mean, yeah, things don't go your way. They don't always go your way, but they maybe aren't meant to all the time.
I would say so. I think that's a great way to look at it, is that when things kind of shift and change, sometimes it's for the best. If not, usually most of the time it is for the best.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you're gonna take some bumps and bruises along the way, for sure.
Builds character.
There are things that with every production, not just the film, but I mean, every production that, I might have wished a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that or less, something. But I mean, you just got to be able to be quick on your feet.
Because you've worked with so many artists in town and developed, visions for their songs, who would you say out of everybody has put in the most input on creativity with you?
Kenny, for sure.
Okay.
Kenny's the most collaborative.
Okay.
For sure. Jason's he's like, you know what I like.
Yeah.
And,
trusting you.
And then if he likes it, he's like, great. And if he doesn't, I mean, just most recently I sent him a treatment and he's like, man, I'm not really feeling that. I go, oh, okay. So 2 days later, here's a new one. You know what I mean? So that's good, but it's not like, he's not the guy that's going to dig in and go, well, let's sit down and talk about it. Kenny will say, come to the house. Let's sit down. I want to talk about this. I want to do this. Or we used to sit on the front of the bus. Yeah. As we're rolling down the road and talk about, I mean, that's where we talked about There Goes My Life. So a lot of those situations. And he is a guy that really knows. I mean, I think I know the audience. He reminds me to never forget the audience. He's really good at like reeling it in. Now, we'll take risks. We've taken risks before and we've probably overshot the audience every once in a while, but we both got like kind of our, filmmaker hats on and went, oh, let's go do this, and spend 2 weeks in Mexico City making, You Save Me. And, great song, amazing video. One of my favorite videos I've ever made. Incredible experience. Literally shot it like I would shoot a movie back in the day, and all shot on film. Great, but we may have overshot the audience a little bit on that one.
Now, because I didn't think I was ever going to actually sit down and talk to the person who directed this music video, I've talked to one of the songwriters.
Okay.
But because you directed Try That in a Small Town.
Yes, I did.
And I don't have a bone to pick with you. I have a bone to pick with, and I very publicly have said about to CMT that I don't understand how someone can do the premiere of the video and then take it down and claim, and then someone approved it. Someone said, we're putting it up, and they all passed off on it, and then they take it down, and then they do this whole thing like, we can't believe they did that. Well, what do you mean? You can't believe they did that? You saw it and you put it up. So I'm just very confused, and I would like to know that. Well, I don't see the problem with the music video, but I wanted to see, were you and Jason collaborative on that one, or was that just kind of you listened to the song
yeah, I mean, I think that he definitely had in his mind an idea of what he wanted it to be as far as real footage.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I agreed 100% because, and I had these conversations with management and everybody. It was like, we can't recreate anything. I will not recreate anything.
No, yeah.
I'm not going to go shoot a scene
of a riot
that says whatever somebody else is going to. This is not the video that you want to leave up to interpretation of something you produced. I'm not doing it.
Right.
Now, that being said, this is all footage and things that have happened out in the real world. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But take a look in the mirror. Every one of us, myself included. For me, that's that's really what it was. It wasn't about I'm better than you, you're better than me, as all the things that everybody wanted to try and make it out to be racist, this, that, and the other. Anybody in the world that thinks that I have a bone of racism in me, they don't know me. They don't know me. And that's fine.
Exactly. Well, you're not going to please everybody. I mean, no matter what you do with whether it's someone writing a song, an artist choosing a song to sing, or a director doing a music video, you're not going to please every single person. And I think
you're not going to.
And if you chase that stick, you are going to lose every time.
Yeah. Listen, I think that they were looking for a reason, right? And they found it in the history of, the town that we shot in.
Sure.
And unfortunately, and I had no idea that is the history. I'm from California, man.
I hear you.
I wasn't a great student when it came to history. You know what I mean? I love everybody.
For sure.
I just do.
Yeah.
I don't have time I really don't have time to hate anybody.
No.
I just don't.
It wasn't that deep of that.
It's, but listen, I mean, I got, my office was under lockdown. They were getting threats. I was getting threats, and it's silly, but a lot of that stuff is just like you got to let it.
It's just noise.
It's just noise. It's just noise. And it's just noise.
So going back to Kenny Chesney, because you have done so much with him, and you, I mean, the amount of work that you guys have done together is astronomical. What do you think is that it factor that has kept your relationship and the collaboration going as long as it has?
I mean, it's him. He's made the call, because there've been times, it's been a long time ago, but there was a period of time when, certain people were like, hey, why don't we try something new? Why don't we try working with someone else or try doing this? And he's like, is this not working? Well, no, it's working. He goes, okay, well, when it doesn't work, then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think, for him to stand up for me and listen, I feel like Kenny's one of those guys, he finds somebody that fits, he's very loyal and really sticks with them. And we are collaborators. It really is his vision. He understood his audience and understands his audience and understands what his music represents better than anybody. Better than anybody.
Yeah.
So oh geez.
No, you're fine.
So he's the driving force behind this being such a successful collaboration for so many years. And I think, it's funny. I got a plaque from I think it was Sony. Yeah, from Sony when he was on Sony, and it was like 25 #1 music videos. Wow. Well, that was probably 20 videos ago.
Wow.
I just looked at it the other day in my office. I have not been here. I was gone for 8 months last year to this year on projects, and I was going through my office a few weeks ago, and anyways, just kind of, and it just caught my eye, because I just finished Sphere with Kenny, and it caught my eye, and I was just like, man, I wonder what we're up to now.
Well, speaking of the Sphere, correct me if I'm wrong, he was the first, and is he the only so far country music artist to have been at the Sphere as a residency?
He's the first country artist, to play the Sphere.
And so I just went and saw the Backstreet Boys, and I'm going to go back again on the January 3rd, because it was like, that's the millennial in me, though. I wish I saw the Kenny show. But speaking of that and how monumental that is, one only for Kenny, but also for you as a director and with visuals, what would you say was the biggest difference with shooting or creating for the Sphere, which is like a building of such size of magnitude, and it has to be shot and taken care of so differently than just a standard music video? What would you say were your biggest differences and your challenges?
Well, I mean, you can start with just the fact that, Kenny's set is like 30 songs. I think the Eagles play 15.
Wow.
So when I handed the treatment to the Sphere team and said, here's the treatment for Kenny's show, and they went, so he's going to do different songs every night? And I go, no, this is the one. I mean, he might switch out a few, but it's 30 songs. It's a set of 30 songs.
Whoa.
And they went, how long is it going to be? I don't know, 2 hours, 15 minutes. I don't know, like whatever the normal thing is, but you guys understand, like Eagles take a minute to 2 minutes to switch out guitars in between songs.
And Kenny's not going to do that.
He goes 8 songs in a row, back to back, like doesn't stop. So it's different. It's a different pace and it's different energy, and it's going to be energy like you guys have never seen in the Sphere before. And they didn't realize that until they came out, and actually we shot a show for some Sphere stuff. So we shot one of the stadium shows, and they looked at me and they go, you're right. We've never seen this level of energy in the Sphere ever. So I think Backstreet Boys, I can tell. I was going to go, but they're coming back, so I just postponed because I just went out to see Wizard of Oz. And but I could tell that was a lot of fun. That show was probably a ton of energy and a lot of fun. But I think that Kenny truly was that first part of Sphere, like that felt like a celebration.
Sure.
And you could see it. I can tell you where you could see it, maybe where I least expected it. The people that work at the Sphere, the people like the ushers and all the people that work around there, they loved it.
They loved it.
They're like, this is the coolest show that's ever been in here. This is so much fun. I'd be in the elevator and they have operators in the elevator, and they go, have you seen this show? And because I'm just like pretending
I
like I don't know.
directed the show.
Like, have you seen the show? And I go, no, I haven't seen the show yet. They go, you have to see the intro. You make sure you're in your seat so you can see it's incredible. It's the best intro that we've ever seen here.
Wow.
And it was like, it made me feel great. And I would tell Kenny these things and stuff because, it's that those are maybe some of the people that he doesn't get to interact with. And, I mean, you feel the crowd. And I think we were also very good at not letting Kenny disappear as an artist in the midst of this
Very important
this content.
Because I will say, I mean, I love Backstreet Boys, but I focus way less on them being in the room and more about what was happening around me.
Right.
And far less about them there.
Yeah. And I think, so what we did, there's a system that's used that's a real-time system. You build all this stuff, but then there are also real-time systems that, where you're able to take the live camera feeds and incorporate them into your content. And it's a system, it's called a notch system. And we utilized more notch than anybody had used before, which was a heavy lift. We literally had notch programmers sitting in there in the Sphere with us for over a week, writing new code. Literally because I'd never seen it work flawlessly until the night it premiered.
Oh dear.
Until the first show. And I mean, we even watched it earlier in the day and there was still stepping that was from, stuff being overloaded because it's rendering in real time. So until the actual show, I had not seen it work all the way through. I mean, I was on pins and needles, and you're like that. It's also very different in that, I was there for every show. I didn't realize I was going to have to be there for every show. I thought the first week and then come home, whatever. But you're constantly updating. You're constantly fixing things that break.
Wow.
I mean, it's like, you're creating, and we even delivered new content because as Kenny all of a sudden is adding songs or has guests come in, or all of a sudden I've got to create something. I can't go as deep as some of the other stuff that took us a year to create, but there are other ways to create content that can, you can put together rather fast.
So how much, because obviously there's no comparison obviously between the artists like Backstreet Boys or Kenny Chesney, but for instance, like I can tell that Backstreet Boys for their visuals rely heavily on AI. How much AI did you have to use for Kenny?
Well, we didn't use any. I don't know that. I mean, do you really think Backstreet Boys used AI? Or are you getting that confused with just visual effects?
Visual effects in the sense of you can tell that some of the video of them in the sphere is not actually them. It's like a version of them and it's their mouths moving.
Maybe.
So, and that's why I know there's been like, for instance,
they pre-shot a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
So if I understand correctly, and I'm not trying to speak out of turn, I didn't work on their project, but I have a feeling that they pre-shot some of their content that was of them up on the screen.
Right.
So we didn't do it. We didn't do that.
Okay.
Everything that you saw up on the screens that was of Kenny was live.
Live.
You would totally be able to tell because he wears different stuff every night. And he does a very different show than Backstreet Boys.
Oh, very. Very.
And listen, I mean, there's room for all of it. I mean, I'm sure that there are going to be more shows that come in there that are highly produced and a lot of stuff that's shot beforehand, and because it's just the nature of the beast. I mean, and that's how some people entertain. But Kenny's stuff is all very organic and kind of live feeling, and we didn't want to lose that.
No,
going into the sphere, we didn't want to all of a sudden not feel like it was his show. The way people expect to see him. Certainly he's surrounded by other worldly things, but we also, I would say, a big difference in maybe that show and maybe even Dead and Co. There's one very specific theme throughout. Like they were in outer space the whole time.
Oh, right. Yeah, they were.
You know what I mean? We weren't. We were like, we're in a bar. We're on the beach. We're underwater. We're kind of everywhere.
Sure.
A lot of different things. We're on a racetrack. I mean, it's song specific. So getting back to your original question, which seems like a long time ago, okay. I got off course, but so writing that treatment, that concept, I'm sitting here along with Kenny coming up with 30 different concepts.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, 30 different concepts. So that's like writing 30 treatments, 30 music video treatments for one project. And we can't use anything that we've shot before to fill the screen. You can use things within it, but you have to create a concept that even archive would have to live within. So you literally are creating 30 different concepts. So it's a heavy lift.
Well, speaking of just in general, because of what it takes for you to have like written concepts and everything for the sphere, do you think shows like that and projects like that are the future of live music venues? Do you think it's going to start pivoting that way? Or do you think
No, I think it's just going to be another choice.
Okay.
I think it's its own form of entertainment.
Okay.
Just like I was saying, I went and saw Wizard of Oz, and all that made me want to do, like, it was such a fun experience. It was super cool, but it also made, and I didn't anticipate this, but after I saw Wizard of Oz in the Sphere, I wanted to go back and watch it, rent it at home and watch it again that way, and I think that's the beauty of it, is that suddenly, and the genius behind choosing Wizard of Oz first, there's a lot of great reasons for that one to have been chosen first. But I think that, here I saw that at, oh God, I don't even know what age I was, very young when I saw that film. And, that film was produced in 1936, right? So I think that for me, I saw it as a young boy, and now I've seen it in a completely different way. But what that's doing is it's also introducing a really historic film to a whole new generation of people that would have never found it.
I would agree with that. And
Like my kids are teenagers. They're not coming home saying, "Hey, can we go watch The Wizard of Oz?"
yeah, no.
They're just not. There's too many other new versions of that, right? There's
Right.
different knockoffs of that concept now that are spectacular and fresh and new, right? But suddenly now they want to go back and watch the original. Oh, what was the original like? Ooh, that's cool. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I do think that that's having I hope is a wonderful thing that's taking place with experiencing it in a completely different way. It's not going to be exactly what you would experience in a regular theater or at home, but that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
It's super cool.
It's very cool.
I mean, we were laughing and we were like, oh my God, it's like wind blowing all around us at the tornado and everything.
Yeah.
It's like,
I've seen the clips of it.
Jesus.
It seems cool.
So fun, a lot of fun.
And speaking of just movies in general, because I kind of feel I've always envisioned music videos like mini movies.
Yeah.
What would you say one of your music videos that you were like, gosh, this treatment could have been a full feature film?
Well, You Saved Me for sure. What Hurts the Most for sure. I think that There Goes My Life was, I mean, it was Friday Night Lights before Friday Night Lights. It really was. I think there's a lot of things. I think there's a lot of videos that I've done that you go, oh, I mean, there's a video that I did for Kenny, 7 days. It ended up not being a single. It's one of my favorite videos I've ever shot. It's beautiful. We shot in Maine, and it's just stunning, and it's a beautiful love story. I've always felt like that could be a movie that should be adapted into a script, and I've thought a lot about it recently about doing that myself. But actually, if you do go to Sphere and see Kenny's show, he did that. Because we had never used the footage for anything. We created this beautiful lighthouse and put the footage from the music video in the panes of glass.
Oh, how cool.
Of it. It was beautiful. He'll do it again, hopefully when he comes back. But he did it like the first couple weeks and then moved on to a different song. You got to switch it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Different songs, but
we kind of touched on a little bit of like how music videos had a huge impact, maybe like, years ago with like CMT and being on television. So how I used to indulge in music videos obviously was through CMT, MTV, VH1. Yeah. Now I would say they're more used as tools through YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. However, has that changed how you go about directing and shooting a music video?
Not really. Again, I don't think I write necessarily for most of what I come up with. The concept is just based on instinct, what I see. And if it's right, then it's right. And if it's not, it's not. I don't know that I've paid a lot of attention to.
I like to hear this stuff.
CMT versus YouTube. Well, I think music videos are music videos. You can do cut downs of them if they need to be shorter or they need to do. For me, I feel like, one of the things that we used to do early on with Kenny specifically is, we always did like behind the scenes stuff and making ofs, right? And it was before YouTube was around. And those ended up being like 1 hour specials or half hour specials that led up to a premiere of a music video. Music videos were presented as much bigger deals back then on actual network TV where people were actually watching. You actually had people's attention. So now I feel like there's just such a need for more content that giving it away. And it's not like that BTS stuff is just BTS. It's not like those used to be specials. That used to be a big deal.
Right.
And same thing with concerts. I mean, I think The problem is, the networks don't have a great desire for a music special or a big special anymore. Well, because it's not that special.
We're giving it all away on socials.
You want to watch a concert, just go on YouTube.
That's a great point. And I will say, whether you like her or don't like her, Taylor Swift does a pretty good job at keeping things pretty secretive.
Sure.
When it comes to specials content, she doesn't just give away her content on her socials whatsoever. And I think there is something to be said about, like, she's one of the few artists that I know people still go to the stores to pick up her digital copy of her albums. It's because she keeps it as a storytelling, and there is mystery there. There is something to be said about, like, 20 years ago, that was something so special about the music industry, and it started to shift where we start to give it away. And the reason why I brought up, if you think about it differently now when you shoot a music video, is because I know many people who now think about it only as in, well, this clip can be for content if we just make it vertical, and this would be good for TikTok, or this would be good for Instagram. Instead of, you're losing the point of telling a story within that music video.
For sure.
We are missing the point of letting a song tell a story through visual art.
There's no patience for the hook. Or at least that's what they say, right? It just doesn't feel like that people are going to tune in long enough to see what happens.
Crazy,
and I don't know how to stop that.
I know we can't. I mean, that's the thing is we can't
stop it.
No,
I mean,
the wheels are in motion. It's already fast.
Yeah. So so I don't know what you do. You pivot. You start. You go do sphere stuff. You make movies. You do as a director. I mean, I go, okay, what am I going to do about this? Well, I probably need to just not worry about what everybody else is doing and focus on what I need to be doing. Right. So you want to tell stories? Well, go tell them. Go tell big stories.
There's many new ways to tell stories.
Yeah, and I think that's another big change in the industry, and we're going to see more and more of it. Is that this is a good time for guys like me that grew up, making music videos and are, have honed their craft, right? Go make a movie. Nobody is going to listen. If you can find the funding and you got a clever story and it's creative and it's, has all the things that are going to grab people's attention, go do it. Like, you should just go do it. Like, don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the gatekeepers, because there are none. There's no more gatekeepers.
Yeah, there really isn't.
So and it's the same with music. I mean, you got a great song, go record it.
Yeah.
Go make it, put it out, see what happens. I mean, that's all you can really do at this point. I just don't know what your other choice you have is. Just do what you're passionate about, what's in your heart, give it away, and hope that someone else connects with it.
I wasn't going to ask you about this because I saw it already. You've already talked about it on another podcast. But regardless, I have to ask you just because I'm a huge fan, and it broke my heart hearing pieces of this story about how you've worked on a Michael Jackson video and he was kind of not great. Yeah.
Oh, that is not true.
Because that breaks my heart. If that's
that is not true. I hope that's not how that podcast sounds.
The clip felt like it.
Well, no. Okay, listen.
And like, I'm a huge fan. Like, I even have a tattoo for him in my lip.
Let me tell you something. The whole Michael Jackson thing, like in my house, is very complicated because my kids grew up loving Michael Jackson. I love Michael Jackson.
Okay,
I mean, my kids.
Thank God.
My kids danced. my kids were hip hop dancers. You know what I mean? So it's like, dude, like, I love Michael Jackson. So if there's a podcast out there that's spinning it differently, please fix that. That is some clever editing.
I think it was just the clip of you saying that nobody wanted to look at, or he wasn't going to want you to look at.
No. He came in and he was just like, I think he was just very shy.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Very shy.
This is making me feel way better
and very
right now.
Uncomfortable.
Okay.
And with groups of people, and was just like,
don't look at me.
He's looking at me. He just kept saying, he's looking at me, and I was like, people are just like, hey.
What music video is this for that you were working on?
It was the one with Presley. Lisa Marie.
Okay. Because I'm like a massive fan.
Yeah.
Probably to the point where someone might think like I'm a little weird. And
Yeah.
like, it was just his birthday the other day. So I was like
Yeah.
celebrating that as if like I know him personally. But regardless,
And listen, I was just a production assistant back then, so I
But
wasn't
how
even
cool,
really
though.
allowed to be around. That was just like happenstance that I happened to be in the
fact that you were in the
earshot
same
of
room.
what was happening. But I will tell you, like my most exciting, most memorable moment, Michael Jackson moment, was that I got to go to the Super Bowl when he performed halftime.
Stop.
At the Rose Bowl.
Oh my gosh.
That was fucking awesome. Like, no, I love Michael Jackson.
All right, I'm glad we're clearing this up because I was more upset
Yeah.
thinking that he might not be. Again, it's like they always say, like, don't meet your heroes, right? Well, unfortunately, I can't meet him now. But I was like thinking to myself, I hope this man. He was just shy. He was shy.
He was
just shy, and that's the world I'm going to live in.
He was a very unique individual, and like I said, I'm not a real judgmental guy. I'm just I don't have time to hate anybody. I love everybody, but that was one of the most talented men that has ever walked this earth.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is.
I mean,
I'm
that
sorry.
with me.
I mean, I don't want to talk about any of the other stuff, but the dude's talent, amazing, amazing.
So a few last questions, just around your work and whatnot. What is the craziest location you've ever shot in?
Oh, well, the craziest location I've ever shot in was Mexico City for You Save Me.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I literally there were uncomfortable moments.
Oh.
Because it's a very dangerous place. And you did not, without being with the right group of people, you didn't venture far from.
Why did you choose to shoot there?
Because Kenny and I had gone and watched Man on Fire, which is Tony Scott was one of my all-time favorite directors ever, and I love that film.
Great movie.
It's one of top 3 films of my life. I love that film, and we watched that, and Kenny's like, "Oh my God, I want a video that looks like that." I want a video that looks like that. So I studied it with my cinematographer, and we did it. We approached it. We shot on film. We did all kinds of, hand crank, off crank, RCU camera tricks and things that give you that look and that feel. And it was ambitious. It was ambitious. It was the most expensive video I ever worked on, ever. And I'm very proud of it. I wish we could go back because it's like, it looks terrible on YouTube because it's so low res. I mean, we didn't have HD back then and stuff. Like, we didn't even have HD.
Right.
Now we're like 4K, you know what I mean? So, Jesus, Sphere is 16, 18K.
Gosh.
But, I loved it. We've talked about going back and even retransferring the footage and redelivering that video, but it's also owned by Sony and all those things. But
a little bit harder to.
But that was a very interesting. I will say, yes, it was a dangerous place where you really had to pay attention to the people you were with and you were around. But at the same time, there was something very special about that place. I was there for 2 weeks and I never felt more creative. Like, I just wrote. I would journal. I would just I don't know what it was. It was incredible. I went one night, Depeche Mode. While I was there, Depeche Mode was playing live at one of the racetracks or something there, and one of the PAs took me and a couple other people to that show. It was incredible. I mean, I'm a guy that's been around a lot of live concerts and a lot of, big crowds and stadiums and stuff. Different.
Yeah.
Very different. I'd never seen kind of the unity, the authentic unity of people just all jumping together, moving together. It was amazing. But it just, I don't know. Mexico City is is a very special place. Yeah, but that was probably the craziest place.
Location.
I've ever been. Yeah.
Ideally, if you could direct for an artist that you have not had the chance to work with, who would be somebody you'd want to tell a story for?
Morgan
Okay.
Wallen.
And what do you like? What would,
I just love his music.
Yeah, no. Yeah, absolutely.
I just love his music. I mean, I honestly, like, I probably listen to his music. I feel like, and it just recently, honestly, just recently, I discovered that he did like 37, released like 37 songs or something. And the first few that came out, I just happened to be listening to. And I was like, man, that's a damn good song. Mm-hmm. And then another one, he'd release another one. I listened to it. I'm just at the gym. I'm I was gone for 8 months. So like every morning I'm like in a hotel room and I go work out at the gym and stuff. I'm listening to Morgan Wallen. I'm like, damn, this is a good song. Damn, this is a good song too. And they just kept coming. Mm-hmm. And I told my wife, I go, this dude released 37 songs. I can't find a song I don't like.
Yeah. I would agree that the recording stuff is really great. His albums always come out pretty top notch.
It's great.
Yeah.
And he's a complicated kid. I mean, he's just normal. I think that's what I love about country music artists, is that I feel like they're just relatable. There's normal people, I mean, he seems to have a good grasp of sharing what's, the good and the bad about him.
For sure.
And I think we all have that. So I think that's
relatable.
Why it's working.
Yeah. And lastly, Shaun.
Yes.
What would you hope for when people watch a Shaun Silva directed video of any kind, whether it's a documentary, a commercial, music video? How do you want people overall to feel when they watch your work?
I just want them to feel something. Mm-hmm. I just want them to feel something. I honestly, I'm an emotional guy, so I think, I kind of probably lean towards, I think it was funny. I think, one of the guys in Rascal Flatts, he would say, well, how are you going to kill somebody in this next video? People always, there was a period of time that people died at the end of every one of my videos, I was just like, oh God, you might have a point there. I should maybe pull back on that. But, I don't know. I mean, the world, hopefully I've made people laugh too, but no, I just want people to feel something. I want it to feel authentic and like real.
Absolutely.
I think that's probably the most important thing. I'm very proud of what I've, accomplished and achieved, much more than I ever could have dreamed of as a kid, growing up, that I'd be doing what I'm doing now. I mean, I feel extremely blessed, for sure. Kenny has given me an incredible life. He's helped me see parts of the world that I would have never seen without having a client, a friend like that to work with. But just all of the artists. I mean, Luke is a great friend, and Jason, and they're all just, I don't know. I just hope that I hope that I've made an impression on an industry that I absolutely feel so blessed to be part of, for sure.
That's great.
So, I mean, I'm never going to be in the Country Music Hall of Fame, but the fact that Kenny is,
you're part of that.
I take great honor, great pride in the fact that maybe I had just something to help that along.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that's pretty awesome. I'm very proud of him and anybody that gets to that place. I know how much that means to all the artists in this
to help
industry.
Build a legacy. I mean,
oh my God,
it's not just a career. That's a legacy.
That's a legacy. That's a legacy. So, if I had a small hand in that, then I'm happy.
Well, thank you so much, Shaun. This was really great to sit down with you. And thank you for sharing stories. It's been a great time.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. This was fun.
Thank you. Hey guys, it's Tiffany Boys. Thank you so much for watching another episode of What's Mine is Yours. Make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to check out more, come visit our socials and follow us at WMIY.podcast.